Hi everyone, it's David from Automotive Press. This is a 2025 Honda CR-V Hybrid, which is one of those vehicles I have been recommending for a while now because in many ways it is better than Toyota RAV4 or Mazda CX-5. Those two vehicles do have their strengths and weaknesses as well, and of course the RAV4 Hybrid or RAV4 plug-in hybrid are some of the best vehicles as well. But I especially like the Honda CR-V as a model because of the drivability, of the manufacturing quality, and just the overall value. So I'm really glad that they have a hybrid model now, and I've always said it is one of the best compact SUVs period, regardless of whether it's hybrid or not. But let me do my usual engineer's audit and do a complete check on this 2025 CR-V Hybrid, starting with the quality, which is the first criteria. This is built in Alliston, Ontario in Canada, so it's not built in Ohio plant, which is often the case with the larger Honda products like a Honda Pilot and Passport and Odyssey. But this one is built in Canada, and actually the Canadian plant has a really good reputation for manufacturing quality, as I will demonstrate to you right now, because the gaps are surprisingly really good. 3.1 millimeter there, 2.9 millimeter, which is almost like a Lexus territory, 3.2 millimeters, a bit wider here at 3.6 millimeters, and 3.3 millimeters, and also everything lines up. It's all flush, and the sheet metal design and the actual manufacturing quality looks excellent. So I would say that the actual panel fit and alignment is really good. So let's do a quick check on the paint thickness as well. 115 microns on the fender, 137, one more here, 122, and finally 129. So actually the paint thickness is just a little bit thicker than what you might find in the RAV4, which is between 100 and 110 for the RAV4 models. But here, as you can tell, it's about 120, so a little bit more than that. So the paint thickness is just a tad thicker than what you might find in Toyota. But more than that, the clear coat application is really good. You can tell the gloss is very consistent. Orange peel is at a minimum. And I would say the paint job and the overall manufacturing quality, to me anyway, appears to be better than those built in the US. Again, I think I have a lot of faith in the Canadian plant, not just because I'm based in Canada, but I know for a fact that plant is one of the best in the world. I have been to that plant and I can attest to their quality. So I will give a solid 4.1 for exterior quality. It's absolutely excellent. Maybe not quite the same level as a Lexus, but pretty close, and definitely a little bit better than some of the Canadian built Toyota RAV4 that I've seen so far. I mean, they're very close within each other, but this one is just a tiny bit better. Let's take a look at the interior quality. Okay, so now we're inside the CR-V Hybrid. Let's take a look at the manufacturing quality, fit and finish. As I always said, it's a pretty fantastic fit and finish. Everything fits well, nothing is out of shape. All the plastic pieces looks good. There's not too much glossy black, which is really good. And the actual fit is really good because nothing is out of place. There's no squeaks or rattles when I drive. Everything seems solid. And I'm going to give it a really good score of 4.5 out of 5 for interior quality, because as far as I can tell, I can't find a single defect or problem in terms of gaps or parts fit. Now let's go back to the outside and talk about the engineering aspect of the exterior design. So we're back outside now, and I'm going to kind of rank the Honda CR-V Hybrid based on what I think of the engineering aspects of the exterior. So what I'm talking about is the design, engineering, and also just how clever they were in coming up with the product development side of things. So if you look at the actual design, it's very conservative. I don't know that it's a progressive design, but it seems to work well because people love the CR-V. But more importantly, the overall design is conservative, which is probably what people want in this market. A couple of things I do want to point out is that this grille is nice glossy black, but this will scratch quite easily. Also sticks out of this hood quite a bit. So even if you just happen to hit something lightly, you're going to damage this front hood pretty easily. So I wouldn't have designed this with this glossy black plastic sticking out. Same thing here as well. So even if you look at the bumper here, this piece sticks out above all the other bumpers, and this is glossy black. So that's the first thing that's going to get scratched. So I wouldn't have designed that, even though it's probably a replaceable piece. And coming back here, more glossy black here, which will get scratched up. I'm okay with the matte black here, And actually the back is fine because we don't have any glossy black over here and nothing here that sticks out. So just the front design is a bit odd. It looks nice, but it's going to be prone to scratches. And actually for that matter, this tail lamp sticks out quite a bit, almost same level as the fender flares. So that piece right here can get scratched up. So those are some of my comments outside. So I would give it 3.8 out of 5 for the exterior design, just because I don't like these things sticking out and there's too many glossy black, which could be a problem later on. Now let's take a look inside again. Now back inside, so what about in terms of design and engineering? Well, first of all, I really like this toggle switch, which is also has a tactile feel to it. This is a kind of Honda trait and it's beautifully designed. I love the fact that this is not glossy black. This is not glossy black, and just the trim outside is the piano black piece. So less likely to get scratched. A lot of other manufacturers use piano black over here, which Honda didn't do. Nice simple shifter here. The only thing I notice is that when I shift into drive, sometimes you go too far and go into B, which is a bit tricky here sometimes. So that's one thing I don't like about that. But big cup holders, big center console as well. And actually everything is soft plastic. So this is soft plastic. This is also soft plastic, compared to many Toyota models that moved into hard plastic here, and oftentimes hard plastic around here as well. So I think it feels more upscale than Toyota models. You can tell that the designer spent a good amount of time to bring a kind of a precision feel to it. These knobs have a really nice tactile feel to it. Almost feels like something out of a stereo system. And so I really, really like the Honda interior. One of the best in the world. I'm going to give it a solid 4.3 out of 5. I'm only deducting some points just because I want to see a bigger infotainment system, because the competitors tend to have larger ones, but it is quite usable and the Honda system is simple to operate. So those are some of my comments for interior engineering. So next section is called performance, which is broken into two subsections, handling and powertrain. Well, in terms of handling, this is by far the strength of this Honda CR-V, regardless of whether it's a hybrid or not. It has a really good kind of hefty weight to the steering. It has better feedback than, let's say, a RAV4 hybrid. I can kind of feel the road. I know which way the tires are pointed, and it has a bit of a feedback. So it is still a little bit light, but heavier than RAV4 or other cars in its class, and therefore it's just the right balance of feel for steering. I think it has really good handling because I can go like this, left and right, and the car responds pretty quick. For an SUV anyways, you can't compete with sports cars, obviously. So I would say within the compact SUVs, maybe the Mazda still have a bit of an edge in terms of steering feel and handling, but this is not too far off, and definitely the Honda CR-V handles better than a RAV4 hybrid. And that could change next year when the new RAV4 shows up, but right now this is one of the best. So I give a solid 3.9 for handling, only because this is an SUV and obviously it's not going to handle anything like a sports machine or sports coupe or sports sedan, but very good within the SUV market. In terms of powertrain, well, this is a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine matched to electric motors, and it has a combined horsepower of 204 horsepower, so not a phenomenal amount of power, but it does feel peppier than in a RAV4 hybrid, because we own both RAV4 hybrid and RAV4 Prime, and the Prime is plug-in hybrid, so that one obviously accelerates better than this one. But if I compare kind of apple to apple between this one and Toyota RAV4 hybrid, this one is quieter, performs better, accelerates better, and so overall I really like the powertrain. The hybrid system also works differently in the Honda compared to Toyota, but that's perhaps for another discussion altogether. So the powertrain in terms of engine is really wonderful. Also the transmission is calibrated nicely with the hybrid system. So overall, again, not a performance SUV, but it feels sportier than most, with the exception of Mazda product, whether it's CX-50 or CX-5, they definitely do feel a little bit sportier. And therefore for powertrain, I give a solid 3.8 because the hybrid system works really well, but I wouldn't call it a performance machine by any means, because there's only so much you can do out of a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. But generally speaking, I really do like the way the whole thing feels. So that's the performance category. The fourth category is called a road feel, which includes the ride as well as NVH, which stands for noise, vibrations, and harshness. And this is where the CR-V really excels. Again, when compared to other compact SUVs, the ride is supple, refined, feels smooth, silky smooth for that matter, and it feels like the suspension engineers have done just a perfect job of providing comfortable ride without making it too mushy. Too many SUVs in this market have a really soft suspension, and therefore they tend to lose composure very quickly, but this CR-V has just the right balance of comfortable, smooth ride without compromising its capability around curvy roads. So when I go around mountain roads or curvy roads, it tends to hold its position and composure, and it feels stable. It doesn't feel like it's going to lose control at all. So I give this vehicle 4.1 for a ride. It's super good, and even though it doesn't have anything high-tech like air suspension in the more expensive models, this one feels really smooth and really well refined. What about NVH, or noise, vibrations, and harshness? Well, because it's hybrid and therefore sometimes engine is not actually making a lot of noise, especially if I'm just driving at low speed like this, it's very quiet, almost as quiet as a full electric car, not quite, but even on the highway speed and highway drives, it is extraordinarily quiet. The actual wind sound is non-existent. I don't hear any noise from outside. There are no squeaks or rattles, as I mentioned earlier. It's really well built. So noise, vibrations, harshness is better than the RAV4 hybrid. I think when you step on the gas, the RAV4 hybrid tends to be a little bit noisy in terms of engine sound, but on this one it's actually very quiet, and all the passengers commented on how comfortable and quiet it is. So noise, vibration, harshness is really good. I'm going to give it 4.1, which is a really good score as well, and probably comparable to Toyota RAV4, but a little bit better, once again, because of the fact that the powertrain stays quiet even under acceleration. And you know what, it almost feels as quiet as some of the larger models you buy in this market, because obviously larger the car, usually the quieter it is, which means within the compact segment, sometimes it's hard to find an SUV that's this quiet. So I really like it, and I give high marks for noise, vibration, and harshness. So what do I think of the Honda CR-V hybrid? Well, you have the RAV4 hybrid, you have the Honda CR-V hybrid, two of the most competitive segments in the market. Which one would I buy? Well, I definitely do prefer the Honda CR-V in terms of drivability, in terms of slightly better handling compared to RAV4 hybrid. But keep in mind, the brand new RAV4 hybrid is coming next year. That's my prediction anyway. And that could be another 1 or 2 steps above where they are. So the CR-V will have a step competition next year. But right now, as we speak, the CR-V I think is a better buy. It's a better driving car anyway. And in terms of value, I think the Honda CR-V offers a lot of features for the money. Although I will say that the resale value might be better on the Toyota hybrid, just because they're so well known and everyone is looking for RAV4 hybrid. And also they have a plug-in hybrid, which we don't have in the Honda. So another point up for Toyota in terms of the availability of the plug-in hybrid models there. So I would say in terms of value, I give a solid 4.3 out of 5. It's a great value, one of the best purchases in the sort of compact / mid-size segment. And it's also available in the hybrid finally in the CR-V, so it's great news. And then resale value, I'm going to give it also 4.3 because it's being absolutely phenomenal resale value for anything to do with hybrid, but especially CR-V with the hybrid because it's also new. Of course, it might trail behind Toyota because Toyota RAV4 hybrid, and especially the plug-in hybrid, the Prime, has ridiculously good resale value, so they might get 4.9, but still this is a really good score. And I think in terms of what you should look for in the compact / mid-size segment, well, go and drive the CR-V, go and drive the RAV4, go and drive the CX-5, although that one is not available in the hybrid, or maybe drive the Mazda CX-50, which will be available in hybrid as well, and you can decide which one makes most sense for you. From my perspective, dollar for dollar, I think CR-V hybrid is a winner here, and I really like the way it drives, and I love the interior. So I hope you enjoyed my video. If so, give me a thumbs up and maybe make some comments, and if you haven't done so yet, would you kindly subscribe as well. Until next video, I'm signing off for now. Thank you so much.